Boxing truth here. Canelo Alvarez and Golden Boy definitely want that easy payday against Chavez Jr. It's too good to pass up. Too much of a moneymaker, big event in comparison to the other options out there. So Canelo and Golden Boy are perhaps compromising a little bit at the negotiating table with Chavez Jr. Of course, the reported purse of $6 million for Chavez Jr. with a little upside in the pay-per-view. Those are terms that are deemed unacceptable by Chavez Jr.'s team, and they're looking for a percentage deal, very similar to other big fights being negotiated. For instance, the Canelo Triple G fight that's still under negotiations. In this particular case, I can see why Chavez Jr.'s team is pushing for a percentage. They feel their name recognition behind the event brings significance to the fight. It adds a lot of buys and really makes the fight bigger with Canelo, with his name attached next to Canelo's. So they figure they deserve a 30 to 35% split. Now, I don't think they'll get 30 to 35%, but I can see where they argue they deserve a percentage. And they're holding their ground. They have some little leverage, only because the other options out there for Canelo are nowhere near as desirable in terms of how much money a fight can generate. The other options out there for Canelo, for May, are Saunders, perhaps David Lemieux, but those fights are nowhere near the type of money generators this fight will do. This fight makes sense. Put it on two Mexicans, two big names. One's a pound-for-pound level fighter. The other is a disappointment. But it's a fight that's been talked about for ages. It's been anticipated for quite some time. And people figured that eventually these two will fight. And right now, you might as well put this fight together. Make it happen. I mean, Canelo Alvarez murders Chavez Jr., which is why they're tempted at this fight. It's a gigantic payday. It is a pay-per-view event. The fight will sell out at a stadium in Texas. It will still do big business in Las Vegas. And it's a very, very winnable fight for Canelo Alvarez. Canelo is the smaller man in this fight. Chavez Jr. will have a weight advantage, a size advantage. But the big gap in this fight is the skill level. Canelo is just a more skillful, better fighter. And he's always been the better fighter. Even when Chavez Jr. was at one time a belt holder in the middleweight division. But Chavez Jr. is holding his ground, feels the $6 million purse is a slap in the face, says he's made that type of money against other fighters. And he's right. He's made that type of money against Maravilla when he fought on pay-per-view against Maravilla. And he wants a much more better terms for this fight to be made. And I think Golden Boy is compromising just a little bit. They're really considering this fight, the significance, the amount of money that could be made, and also a very easy payday for Canelo Alvarez. This fight's going to make Canelo look like $1 million. Chavez Jr. is going to plod forward, no head movement, no jab, and Canelo is going to tee off on him until however long this fight lasts, and Canelo is going to get another impressive stoppage win on a pay-per-view platform on HBO, further creating anticipation for the Golovkin fight. This is how you marinate a fight. Perhaps Canelo against Chavez Jr. on Cinco de Mayo. You got Triple G in a significant fight, mandatory defense against Danny Jacobs. 2 emphatic knockout wins later, and the fight's even bigger against Canelo and Triple G. But I have a good feeling this fight's going to happen. I mean, considering the options, Saunders, that fight, nobody knows who the fuck Saunders is in America. The fight will be like another Liam Smith, 250K, 300K buy. Why do that fight when you can pick on Chavez Jr., easy pickings, and perhaps exceed 400,000 in pay-per-view buys, and also sell out in stadium in Texas? This fight makes too much sense not to make. This is Boxing Truth. I'm out.